You're saying you don't like what I ruled upon. You're alleging some facts in an affidavit that support that decision. Because if that were the case, then no trial judge would be able to sit through a trial and give adverse rulings. So for the reasons set forth in Baptiste and other cases, I'm going to deny your motion to recuse on its face, okay?
So when talking about our guy, Brian Steele, he's free, y'all. He's out. The Georgia Supreme Court just granted Brian Steele his bond. So he's not going to have to do any time in jail as it sits right now. And I know he's looking forward to that. As much as he said he wanted to spend his time in jail with Young Thug, I'm sure he's happy he gets to go home with his family. But let's check out this article. It is written by Megan Cuniff. I know I'm saying her name wrong. I apologize, Megan. And I'll be posting a link to this article in this video and in the description as well. She says, High Court halts Young Thug's lawyer's jail sentence as he appeals contempt order. All right, now this contempt order was, again, the order that was put in place by Judge Glanville when Brian Steele found out that they had a secret meeting and without him. So he was going at Judge Glanville, telling him that this wasn't right. He wanted to call for a mistrial. And Judge Glanville asked Brian Steele where he found out the information from. He did not deny, the judge did not deny that they had the meeting without him. He just wanted to know who told him the information. Brian Steele said, I'm not telling you the information. And then he got held in contempt. All right. So a judge in Atlanta, Georgia, ordered the attorney to serve 10 weekends in jail for criminal contempt for not saying who told him about a secret meeting with a witness, which is not okay. All right. So here's the case information for you guys as well. So you can see that there. And then it also says Young Thug will not have his lawyer as a cellmate this weekend. The Georgia Supreme Court on Wednesday granted bond for Brian Steele as he appeals a contempt of court order issued Monday by a judge angry he won't disclose who told him about a secret chambers meeting with a key witness in the racketeering conspiracy trial against the rapper and his 5 co-defendants. All right, a lot of co-defendants in this case. The 2-word judgment means Steele won't have to report to jail in Atlanta, Georgia by 7 p.m. as Fulton County Superior Court Judge Glanville ordered. Glanville's contempt order still stands as Steele's lawyer appeals, and another could be on the way. Jeez, man. Yeah, Judge Glanville really wants to find out who the mole is on this one, which I think we're going to get into later. We might know who it is. The judge on Tuesday ordered everyone who attended the meeting to appear at the June 25th hearing to show cause why one or more of them should not be held in contempt for disclosing information from the ex parte conversation to member of the defense counsel. So that hearing is going to take place on June 25th. Y'all can guarantee that we're going to have a video and cover this as well. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. Also, it says, yeah, the reason they're going to hold this is because they want to be able to show why one or more of them should not be held in contempt. So they have to tell them why what Brian Steele did was not wrong. Or I should say, instead of a double negative, I'll say why what Brian Steele did was okay and why he didn't have to disclose this information, which I think is weird, but we'll have to look into more research as to why they would have to go about it this way. Glanville told attorney Caleb Bumpus, I believe is how you say it, of the hearing after he allowed her to stop representing Lil Woody, the witness whose refusal to testify last Friday led to Monday's ex parte meeting. So again, they're not denying that the meeting happened. They're just saying that people weren't supposed to find out about it. And it's looking like this Caleb Bumpus might be the one who leaked the information. So this is where everything went down. We're going to look at this video real quick.
A written consent discharging me. I filed a motion to withdraw and I proposed an order.
Okay, can I see it, please?
May I approach?
You can. Okay. I'll mark this as the next court's exhibit in order. Do you have a formal order that you're going to prepare with the style of the case and the case number?
Yes, Judge. That's just his signature. I prepared an order and I filed a motion with the clerk's office. I'm waiting on a file stamp.
All right. Okay. Mr. Copeland, let me hand you. This document. Did you read and sign that document?
Yes.
All right. Did you have an opportunity to talk with Ms. Bumpus, your satisfaction about
This whole thing is crazy.
Pros and cons of her withdrawing as your counsel in this case?
Yes.
Do you wish for her to go ahead and withdraw as counsel?
Yeah.
Okay.
He threw up the peace sign. He said, yeah, get out of here. So this is when he fired his attorney. Now, this attorney was not representing him in this entire case, and we're going to get into that in a second. Lil Woody fired Bumpus from the witness stand on Monday after she told Glanville she needed to withdraw because he wanted her to. The judge put Lil Woody on the stand to confirm, and that's what we just saw there. Bumpus was substituting for Jonathan Melnick, another Atlanta attorney who appeared with Lil Woody on Friday, but said he couldn't be in court Monday because he had non-refundable plane tickets. And yeah, the judge didn't care. He said, well, y'all better figure it out and make sure somebody's here. Chief Deputy District Attorney Adrian Love questioned whether Melnick was truly representing Copeland's best interest on Friday when he told the judge that Copeland planned to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, and Copeland ended up in jail for contempt of court. That's when he said on Friday, I don't want to testify. And just said, all right, well, we're going to keep you here until Monday. And then Monday, of course, we know Lil Woody, being the snitch that he is, he's like, all right, I'll talk. And he's talking right now. We're going to get into it. The judge ordered Lil Woody, a former close friend of Young Thug's legal name Jeffrey Williams, into custody after he defiantly said, I plead the fifth, when asked his age. Melnick said later in the day that Lil Woody planned to invoke again on Monday, but Lil Woody instead began testifying after court started about 2 hours later than scheduled. So that secret meeting took place somewhere in between the judge hearing that Lil Woody's lawyer said he was going to plead the fifth again, and Lil Woody deciding to take his place on the stand, which is weird because, as we're going to get into later, we've got the document showing some of the things that went on in the secret meeting. All right, so all of it was recorded. They have the full details, and we're going to go over it here shortly. And it's looking like the judge told Lil Woody some things and said, hey man, listen, if you don't testify, I'm going to keep you here for a long time until you decide to testify, which in some cases might not be a good look. We'll see. During a break in Lil Woody's testimony, Steele told Glanville he'd heard of the ex parte meeting, that means the secret meeting, and demanded to know why the defense wasn't included or notified. The judge wouldn't discuss the meeting and instead demanded Steele tell him how he learned of it. It's crazy. Steele refused. Glanville had him taken into custody. He was taken to a courthouse holding cell, but soon allowed back into the courtroom. And we covered this in the last video. All right, so then he gets out. We're all good. Attorney Doug Weinstein asked Judge Glanville to recuse himself in a 15-page filing on Wednesday. Oh man, that said the judge coerced sworn witness Lil Woody to testify during a meeting. Yeah, this is bad, y'all. And we've actually got the 15-page filing right here. We're going to go over it here shortly, and you're going to see in specific detail what Judge Glanville actually said. And you guys will get to decide if you think this was right or wrong, if you think he was coercing him, if you think he was even threatening him, because man, there's a lot in this filing. Defendant should have been afforded an opportunity to attend any hearing where a sworn witness in a critical stage of the trial is being coerced to testify, Weinstein wrote. The only logical conclusion to be drawn by the willful exclusion of all defense counsel from the meeting among Chief Judge Glanville, the state and sworn, I think they meant to put here, witness Lil Woody, was to harass and intimidate the sworn witness into testifying. And we're going to see in more detail what that looks like. So they're trying to get Judge Glanville out of here. And I don't know, y'all, when we look at this filing, you're going to see that it's looking like he did a lot of the things they're accusing him of. Whether it comes to pass that he gets kicked out of the case, that there's a mistrial, that he does have to recuse himself, we're going to find out. Weinstein asked Glanville to send in the motion to another judge, but Glanville declined and rejected the motion in a brief discussion Wednesday afternoon, which is weird that he gets to decide if they can send the motion or not. Crazy. Glanville said the issue comes up a fair bit, criticizing his decision to hold an ex parte meeting with Lil Woody as a routine decision by a trial judge. Well, we're going to find out if it's okay or not. You can't file a motion to recuse for a ruling that a trial judge makes. Okay. So what he's saying here is he's basically saying that Weinstein was upset or mad at the ruling that the judge is making. And that's why he's filing this motion to recuse. And he's saying you can't do that. Glanville also says, and that's what you're doing in this particular situation. He also said, because if that were the case, then no trial judge would be able to sit through a trial and give adverse rulings. All right. But that's not what they're saying, which I think it's weird that Glanville is saying that, because what they're saying is you had the meeting without us. And that's the issue. The issue is not that we're upset with your ruling. The issue is that you did something that goes against the court. So remember bias, he says. I've got to do something extrajudicial. Isn't that what he did, though? What?
Point two. The court's had an opportunity to read your motion. I've also had an opportunity to take a look at, because this issue comes up a fair bit. Baptiste versus the state, I invite you to take a look at that. And that's from our Court of Appeals, 229 Georgia Appeals 691. Basically, you can't file a motion to recuse for ruling that a trial judge makes, okay? And that's what you're doing in this particular situation. You're saying you don't like what I ruled upon. You're alleging some facts in an affidavit that support that decision. Because if that were the case, then no trial judge would be able to sit through a trial and give adverse rulings. So for the reasons set forth in Baptiste and other cases, I'm going to deny your motion to recuse on its face, okay?
All right, so judge shot that down. He said, nope, not doing it. And Glanville also declined to allow immediate review by the appellate court. So these judges have a lot of power in these trials. There's a lot of ways, and you have to go over the judge's head to even get this looked at. So he said, Judge Glanville said, you can appeal it at the end of the case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, I'll live by it. Basically saying when this trial is over, then you guys can appeal this contempt. So he was really trying to push to punish Brian Steele for what he did and not give him an opportunity to defend himself in this case. And then Weinstein says, are you interested in removing the cloud that's hanging over this case right now, Your Honor? Weinstein asked. Glanville warned Weinstein. He said, you need to be very careful about what you're saying as a matter of professional responsibility, and told him to tread lightly. Ooh. Glanville's starting to feel the heat, it sounds like. Remember, we haven't nugged out all the issues involved in that affidavit. Weinstein's affidavit includes more detail about what attorneys believe occurred in Monday's meeting, including that Lil Woody stated he would sit in jail for 2 years rather than testify. Okay, so maybe that's some points to Lil Woody's loyalty, even though he snitched before. So we might have to give him some points for that. Upon information and belief, at the ex parte meeting the morning of June 10th, 2024, Glanville informed Lil Woody that CJ Glanville could keep Copeland, or Lil Woody, incarcerated until additional defendants were tried. Wow, not just the 6 defendants currently on trial. And the thing about this is, so what Judge Glanville is saying is that I could keep you incarcerated and we could hold your testimony until all the other defendants were heard. And then he also says that there are more than a dozen defendants that were left to be heard, which is crazy. This is wild, man. This is a huge threat. I don't know. Y'all have to let me know what you think. Will this be a threat to you? A judge saying, hey, if you don't testify, I'm going to hold you here until we hear from everybody. Shh. Lil Woody said he would lie on the stand. According to the affidavit, the Fulton County Deputy District Attorney Simone Hilton stated that she would not prosecute Lil Woody if he were to lie on the stand. What? The affidavit also says that upon information and belief, Lil Woody told Hilton that he would state that he killed Donovan Thomas Jr., which is Big Nut, whose murder is a key crime in the trial. And Hilton told him she'd prosecute him for perjury if he did. So Lil Woody says, I'll lie. Hey, Simone, I'll lie on the stand if you need me to. It's fine. And she said, oh, that's okay. If you lie on the stand, don't worry about it. We won't prosecute you. And then Lil Woody says, yeah, and I'm going to lie on the stand and say I killed Big Nut, because if he does that, what does that do? That takes away the guilt or blame on Young Thug. What did Simone say? What did Ms. Hilton say? She said, oh no, if you do that, then we're going to prosecute you. That's crazy. This is dirty, dirty, dirty. This whole case is just a mess, an absolute mess, man. I don't see how they could do this. Oh man, Lil Woody was charged with murder years ago for Big Nut in January of 2015, the fatal shooting outside of the Atlanta barbershop, but the case was dismissed. Prosecutors charged 5 of Williams' co-defendants with the murder as a part of the 2022 racketeering conspiracy indictment. 2 are on trial with him. Shannon, who was in the courtroom, and DeMonte, Got It, was in there as well. Thomas's shooting also is the basis for several of the 191 overt acts supporting the racketeering conspiracy charge. And as we mentioned before, this is the biggest charge against Young Thug right now, is that he basically planned this whole thing. So we're going to get into it a little more, but as y'all saw, our guy Brian Steele is free. He's out. They filed everything that they needed to file to get him out, and the Supreme Court said, nah, you don't have everything that you need to keep him in here, so we're going to let him out. All right, let me know what y'all think in this case, because this is absolutely insane.